Today we are here to check out as the board exams are fast approaching and we have a maths examination on March 18th. We are here to discuss on what should be the last minute preparation and what kind of questions can be expected in the examination, and also what are the important chapters which you have to cover at this moment. I hope hardly 4 days are left, isn't it? Okay, so it is not recommendable for every one of you to start from the first question and to finish out till the last question. It is always recommendable to check out a few models and check out a few chapters, which is very important, and also assess yourself where you need to work out, isn't it? Okay, so if any of you have any problem with the voice or audio, just try to log out and log in once again. Okay, now before starting our class, let me ask you a question. To what extent did you finish your preparation so far? Every one of you, there will be a poll in front of you. Just try to answer. To what extent did you complete your preparation so far? Above 80%, 60 to 80%, 40 to 60%, and less than 40%. Why am I asking is this? Because it will help me to bring out the maximum benefit from this session. Yes, I can see almost 30% of you are around 60 to 80%. Yes, absolutely. Most of the students will be productive at the last minute, isn't it? Okay, guys, don't give the answer in chat box. Every one of you answer it in the poll itself. It will be better. Okay? Oh, okay, that's good. So I got already some 200 responses. That's really good. I can see most of you are at the edge of like 60 to 80% of preparation. That's really good, guys. That's a good amount of effort, I can say. So guys, probably this session will improve most of you, like whoever is lying between 60% region, it will definitely improve around 30% more. I would definitely expect every one of you to reach the 90% level. Okay? Okay. Now, let us see what are all the important chapters which we have to cover for the examination. If you observe, all the chapters in your maths can be divided as 6 topics: relations and functions, algebra, calculus, vectors and three-dimensional geometry, linear programming and probability. You can observe that the marks concerned with each chapter, where calculus occupies a major part, which is 44 marks. Isn't it? Okay, and it is very important. I hope every one of you know the calculus covers differentiability, continuity, all maxima, minima chapters, all those. Where all these chapters are directly related, probably predefined methods or certain models are given already, isn't it? Whereas the most toughest chapter will be integrals. Yes, integrals is very important because although you finish the whole textbook, there will always be a new question. Okay, that is very important, guys. Okay, and coming to the next part is vector and three-dimensional geometry. The very important thing in vector and three-dimensional geometry is they're already straightforward questions. You just need to know the method. If you solve your NCERT questions itself, it will be more than enough, and you will be able to solve. You'll be able to get all the 17 marks. Okay. Now coming to the next part is algebra, where matrices and determinants and all those are covered. Very important thing you have to keep in your mind is calculations. If you do anything wrong in the calculations, you will be out of this. You cannot get these marks, 13 marks. So this is very important for the algebra part, for the calculations. Of course, every one of you know how to find out the inverse matrix. Every one of you know to do all the procedures. Every one of you concepts. Every one of you know. It always tests your patience and calculations part. Whereas coming to relations and functions, probability we'll be discussing today. We'll be solving a few questions based on those two chapters today. And also coming to the next one, linear programming, a short 6 marks question, long answer question. So if you know all the methods in the linear programming, of course, it will be a lengthier one. If you know all the methods, you'll be easily able to bag out 6 marks. Okay. Now coming to the model of the question paper, every one of you know there will be 10 very short answer questions, which is of each 1 mark, and 12 short answer questions, which is of each 4 marks, and there will be 7 long answer questions, which is of each 6 marks. There will be total 29 questions and 100 maximum marks. Okay, I hope every one of you are almost clear with it. Okay. Anyways, this is your blueprint. There is a blueprint. It was given by the CBSE board. You can also access the blueprint from a CBSE board always. Okay. So if you observe here, the very important thing you need to observe in the blueprint is that already we have seen the class-wise weightage of the marks, but we need to observe here is that application of integrals, probability, three-dimensional geometry, and application of derivatives. Let me say integrals, short answer questions. These are always a short questions. Okay. Yes, this is not exactly, I'm not saying this is not exactly the model of the question paper, but this is a question paper which is being repeated for the past few years. Okay. This is provided by this blueprint is provided by the CBSE board. So every one of you, please keep in mind these are very important questions. Okay. So now with this, we'll go and solve a few questions based on relations and functions. And inverse trigonometric functions. And probability. So these are the 3 chapters we'll be covering in our session today. Okay. So guys, don't spam the chat. Try to maintain the decorum of the class. Okay. So today we'll be covering these 3 chapters which are very important. Okay. So first of all, let us solve an question on relations and functions. As you can see the question on your screen, let function f, that is domain R2, x belongs to R, minus 1 is less than x less than 1, defined by f of x is equal to x by 1 plus mod x, where x belongs to R. Prove that the function is a bijective function. So how many of you can tell me what is a bijective function? How many of you can you tell me that what is a bijective function? That's good. That's really good, guys. I can see most of you are answering. A function which is of both 1, 1 and onto is called as a bijective function. That's really good. Now let us try and solve this function whether it is 1, 1 or not. So what is the condition for 1, 1 function? F of x, if f of x is equal to f of y, if you consider this condition, it implies that x is equal to y for all x comma y belongs to R. That means for all f of x is equal to f of y, that x is equal to y for all xy belongs to the domain. Okay. Now we'll see how to prove this function as 1, 1. So let me consider f of x. So it will be x by 1 plus mod x. F of y is y by 1 plus mod y. X by 1 plus mod x is equal to y by 1 plus mod y. Okay. The important thing is that you need to consider the mod function over here. Mod x is equal to nothing but x when x is greater than 0 minus x when x is less than 0. Okay, I hope every one of you know this modulus function. Now, we need to consider few cases while solving this question. That is very important. We need to consider let me consider the first case as when case 1, x is greater than 0 and y is also greater than 0. If you consider this condition, it will happen that mod x will be plus x, so 1 plus x is equal to y by 1 plus y. If you try to simplify it, it will be x plus xy is equal to y plus xy. Here you can cancel out xy such that x is equal to y. So this is only one case. We have still to prove 3 more cases and we have to find out whether it is possible or not. Okay, we have only considered that x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0. Whereas we have mentioned earlier that x comma y belongs to R. So we need to check out all the cases. So let me come to the case 2 where x is less than 0 and y is less than 0. Okay, if you observe this case very clearly, it will be x by 1 minus x. Again, I am considering f of x is equal to f of y for your information, and y by 1 minus y. Because x is less than 0 and y is less than 0, modulus function. So again, if you cross multiply it, x minus xy is equal to y minus xy. So you can cancel out xy on both sides. At x is equal to y. You have proved in the other second condition also. The very important condition and the place where most of the students does a mistake is this condition, third condition and fourth condition. Let me show you what are these two conditions. Let me say x is greater than 0 and y is less than 0. But if you observe whether this is possible condition or not, discuss is that f of x is equal to f of y, so x is equal to y. For x is equal to y, is it possible if x is greater than 0 and y is less than 0? Isn't it right? So we'll see. We have to prove it. We can't just say it just theoretically. We have to prove it. Mathematics is all about proofs. So let us see how to prove it. So x is greater than 0. So 1 plus x is equal to y divided by 1 minus y. So if you again cross multiply it, x minus xy is equal to y plus yx. And if you bring this xy to the right hand side and y to the left hand side, it will happen x minus y is equal to 2xy. So for the earlier previous two cases, we have seen that x is equal to y when we have cross multiplied and we have tried to solve. But here x minus y is equal to 2xy. How to solve this condition? We already discussed that it may not be a possible condition also, because x is greater than 0 and y is less than 0, isn't it? So let me say that, observe it very carefully, x is greater than 0, so x is positive, and y is less than 0, so y will be negative, then definitely x minus y is greater than 0. I hope every one of you are able to observe it, that x minus y is greater than 0. If again, I will be repeating once again, observe it very carefully guys. Here we have assumed the condition that x is greater than 0 and y is less than 0. And here, whatever equation we got is x minus y is equal to 2xy. So, x is positive and y is negative. So, x minus y is greater than 0. Whereas if you observe on the right hand side, 2xy, as we already seen that x is greater than 0 and y is less than 0, the product of 2x, y and y will be a negative term. So x minus y, as per this equation, x minus y is equal to a negative term, which is completely contradictory to this inequality. So definitely this case is not at all possible. There is no possibility that x is greater than 0 and y is less than 0 and f of x is equal to f of y. So we can just avoid this condition. Now coming to case 4, if you observe, it will happen the same. Let me say x is less than 0 and y is greater than 0. Okay, if you apply the function f of x is equal to f of y, x by 1 minus x is equal to y by 1 plus y. If you cross multiply it again, you will get it as y minus x is equal to 2xy again. Same method what we have seen earlier, that y minus x, here y is greater than 0 and x is less than 0 and 2xy is a negative term, so this condition is also not possible. So if you observe, these two conditions are not possible, and earlier whatever two cases we have seen, x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0 and x is less than 0 and y is less than 0, in these two conditions we have proved that f of x, if f of x is equal to f of y, so x is equal to y. By this we can say that this function is one-on-one. The very important thing you need to understand over here is, the question is very straightforward. You know the concept, what is a bijective function, you know what is an one-one function, you know what is an onto function, but most of the people, most of the students still at this point where you were unable to mention y x greater than 0 and y less than 0. This case is why it is not possible. Most of the students will fail over here. So I would recommend every one of you to observe it once again clearly. This is a trickier part of the question. This is because why I'm mentioning this question once again. Though the question seems to be straightforward, where the students will fail to answer the question. So this is very important, guys. Observe it carefully. Now, coming to the next part of the question, that is onto function. So for the bijective function, the first part we are done. For the second part, onto function, let me say that let y belongs to R such that minus 1 is less than x is less than, sorry, minus 1 is less than y is less than 1. Okay. Now, if you observe, let me consider two conditions, that x is greater than 0 and x is less than 0. In these conditions, as y, let me say y is equal to x by 1 plus x. Y is equal to x by 1 minus x. Okay. Now if you try to write x in terms of y by cross multiplying, and if you try to solve, it will be y plus yx is equal to x. Y is equal to, if you take the x as common, 1 minus y, that is nothing but x is equal to y by 1 minus y when x is greater than 0. In the same way, if you try out this equation also, we will get that x is equal to y by 1 plus y. Okay. Onto function is nothing but for range, the codomain, for every element in the codomain, you should have a pre-image in the domain, that is R. For every element y, you should have a predefined x in the domain. That is very important. So for that, let me show you how to prove it. So if you observe here, I have chosen that if x is greater than 0, I have taken it as x is equal to y by 1 minus y, and if x is less than 0, I consider x is equal to y by 1 plus y. So the condition to prove that this function is an onto function is that you need to prove that f of x is equal to y. Okay, here x is given, so f of x is equal to f of y by 1 minus y. If you substitute this, as we have already seen that the whole term y by 1 minus y is greater than 0. So let me say y by 1 minus y divided by 1 plus y by 1 minus y modulus. Okay, this is a bracket and the denominator one is a modulus function. As we already know that x is greater than 0 and y by 1 minus y is greater than 0, let me write it as y by 1 minus y, and the modulus will be positive, so I'll take the LCM of 1 minus y plus y divided by 1 minus y. If you observe, 1 minus y gets cancelled, y gets cancelled, it will be equal to y. So from this we have said that f of x is equal to y. For every element of y in the codomain, you will have an pre-image in the function f of x. That is the domain. Okay. Now, if I say f of x is equal to, in the same way, if you try to solve this one, when x is less than 0, y by 1 plus y, that will be equal to y by 1 plus y divided by 1 minus, because I'm taking the minus because it is x is less than 0. Instead of writing it as a modulus function, I'm just taking it directly, y by 1 plus y. Now if you simplify it again, you will get the y, that is f of x is equal to y. So with this you can say that the function, given function f of x is equal to x by 1 plus x when x belongs to R is both 1 1 and on 2. Clear, everyone? So this is how you prove that this function is a bijective function. Okay. So the importance of this question is because why I have picked out this question is because if you observe, as we have already said, that this is a very important condition. Though the concept is very well known, but the approach and application of the question is very important during the examination point of view. Okay, it will be very easy if you observe. This question is very straightforward, and you can say bijective function. If the function is both 1 1 and 1 2, I can directly solve this question. But the importance is that you need to prove that this function is 1 1 by solving all these 4 cases. Okay. Now moving on to the next question, that is inverse trigonometric function. Okay. So inverse trigonometric function is nothing but inverse of a function inverse trigonometric function is nothing but an inverse of a function. So it is very important for you to understand that ranges domains of all the trigonometric functions. Let me write it. These are very important to solve any equation from the inverse trigonometric. Ranges domains of all the functions and the second important thing is that principal values of all the functions The third one is the trigonometric formulas, trigonometric expressions, and all those. Let me say the sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1, secant square theta minus tan square theta is equal to 1, and also tan inverse of x minus y by 1 plus xy. All these expansions, trigonometric values are very important, as you will understand in this question. Expansions and let me say values are very important. Okay, the reason for me to stress upon all this is you will understand from this question. So try to prove this. Tan inverse of root over 1 plus x minus root over 1 minus x divided by root over 1 plus x plus root over 1 minus x is equal to pi by 4 minus half cos inverse x. when minus 1 by root 2 is less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1. Think, okay, try to think about this question. How to solve this question? Okay, so now the very important and the very first step you need to consider is that take out the LHS, that is tan inverse root over 1 plus x minus root over 1 minus x divided by root over 1 plus x plus root over 1 minus x. Okay, so the reason why I have picked out LHS instead of RHS is because it seems to be a big expression. I can simplify it and show it as an pi by 4 minus half cos inverse x. There is also a reason that you can solve this question by substitution method. You can substitute x in place of x in a trigonometric function and try to simplify it, and you can find out the RHS part. So try to think about which substitution will be helpful for you to solve this question. I would say it is x is equal to cos 2 theta. The reason why I have picked out is because 1 plus x is equal to 2 cos square theta. 1 minus x is equal to 2 sin square theta. That means x is equal to cos 2 theta, assuming that x is equal to cos 2 theta. Okay. So 1 plus cos 2 theta is equal to 2 cos square theta, and 1 minus cos 2 theta is equal to 2 sin square theta. These are the two important conditions which led me to choose that x is equal to cos 2 theta. Unless you know these two things, it will be very difficult for you to come out with the first step of this question. So that is why I'm stressing on that. It is very important to remember all the trigonometric expressions, principal values, ranges, and codomains, or else you would be missing all the step marks also for a question. So that is very important to initiate the question. Okay. With that, let me continue. Let me say that tan inverse of root over 1 plus cos 2 theta minus root over 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by root over 1 plus cos 2 theta plus root over 1 minus cos 2 theta. As we have already seen that 1 plus cos 2 theta is 2 cos square theta and 1 minus cos 2 theta is 2 sin square theta. I'll substitute those values over here. Tan inverse of 1 plus cos 2 theta is root over 2. As root over cos square theta is cos theta, I'll just apply it directly. Root 2 sin theta divided by root 2 cos theta plus root 2 sin theta. Okay. If you observe, root 2 is common both the numerator and denominator. So I'm cancelling root 2. Now the leftover expression is tan inverse of cos theta minus sin theta divided by cos theta plus sin theta. Okay. So what will be the next step? Can any of you guess? What should be the next step? So the two important steps over here is the first step, and the next one is over here, where most of the students will be confused to go further. So for this, I'll say tan inverse of cos theta into 1 minus tan theta divided by cos theta into 1 plus tan theta. Cos theta gets cancelled on the numerator and denominator, and it will be tan inverse of 1 minus tan theta divided by 1 plus tan theta. Okay, so why I have taken cos theta as common, I'll just show you. You can understand from this expression, which I have earlier also mentioned. Tan inverse of x minus y divided by 1 plus xy is equal to tan inverse of x minus tan inverse of y. So most of you still might ask, what is the relation between these two expressions? Observe it, guys. Here I'll write 1 into tan theta. I hope that doesn't change the expression. So 1 minus tan theta divided by 1 plus 1 into tan theta. If I mention that x is equal to 1 and y is equal to tan theta, doesn't it look like tan inverse of x minus y by 1 plus xy? Isn't it? So now let me say that tan inverse of, I'm just expanding according to the previous expression, tan inverse of 1 minus tan inverse of tan theta. Okay, this tan inverse of 1 is nothing but principal value pi by 4 minus tan inverse of tan theta is nothing but theta. So if you observe, it is pi by 4 minus half cos inverse x, but we got pi minus tan inverse of tan theta is pi by 4 minus theta. So you have to remember that earlier we have taken an assumption that x is equal to cos 2 theta. This is a substitution what we have done, isn't it? So now we will take it as cos inverse of x is equal to 2 theta and half cos inverse of x is equal to theta. If you substitute over here, pi by 4 minus half cos inverse x, which is nothing but RHS. This is the RHS. So LHS equal to RHS, we are able to prove it. So this is very important, guys. Though you know most of the trigonometric functions, you should be able to understand where exactly you need to apply which trigonometric function. That is very important to understand. If I observe here, the critical part of this question is that you need to observe the tan inverse of cos theta minus sin theta by cos theta plus sin theta, where which you should be able to convert it into the form of tan inverse of x minus y divided by 1 plus xy. And here you should be able to understand that x is equal to cos theta, cos 2 theta is a substitution. I hope so far every one of you are clear with this question, because it's a very important question, guys, with the inverse trigonometric function. This is the kind of trickiness, or probably the question seems to be very straightforward. Okay, This is where you need to understand with the inverse trigonometric functions. Now, moving on. Coming to the probability chapter. So, I hope, how many of you are afraid of this probability chapter? I know most of you may not be that comfortable with the probability because algebra or geometry, there are few chapters where you can always check out your answer whether it is correct or not. If you find out x is equal to some value, you can always check out the equation whether it satisfies or not. But whereas with the probability, it is always very critical that you need to understand the statement very clearly and you need to assess the problem according to the statement given. It is a very generic problem, generic question, which you will be checking out day-to-day life. So it is very important to solve a probability question by understanding the question very clearly. So let us try and solve a question now. Here the question is given that a purse contains 5 coins, each either a 50 paisa coin or 1 rupee coin. 2 coins are drawn at random. 2 coins are drawn at random and are found to be 1 rupee coins. Find the expected or probable total value of the remaining coins. Okay, the important thing is over here is that it is mentioned that 5 coins are there in the purse. Okay, so it is already given that there are only 2 possibilities, either a 50 paisa coin or a 1 rupee coin are there in the purse. So now when you have drawn 2 coins at random, you found that 2 coins are 1 rupee coins, but you do not know what are the other 3 coins. So here you have to apply the probability concept and find out what could be the expected total value of the remaining coins. Here comes the more critical part, is that the conditional probability. And Bayes theorem. These two are very important when solving probability. Of course, you can, if you observe the past few papers also, most of the questions are based on Bayes theorem and conditional probability. This is a very important concept which you need to master. So now let's try and solve a few question. This question on this. This includes conditional probability, Bayes theorem, and also the concept of the complete probability in this question. Let me show you. Let me say X 1 rupee coin, Y 50 paisa coin, suppose let me say an event 1 has occurred. Okay, and it is found that you have you have drawn 2 1 rupee coins. So let me say there are maximum 2 1 rupee coins in the purse. So I'll say 2x. And whatever the remaining 3 coins, there is no other possibility. There should be 50 paisa. So I'll mention it as 3y. Let me consider another event. These are all the possibilities that can happen in the purse. Okay. Let me say there are 3 1 rupees and 2 of them are drawn out. And as there are 3 1 rupees, there must be 2 50 paisa. And let me consider the third event where it can be 4 1 rupees and only 1 50 paisa. And there is only the last possibility is that 5x, that is all the coins in the purse are 5 rupees. Whereas there are 0 50 paisa coins. So this is a general probability concept which you need to assess for yourself, which you need to understand, and you need to come out with all the possibilities, whatever the possibilities are there. So what would be the probability of each event to occur? Let me say, what is the probability of event 1 to occur? That is, there are 2 1 rupee coins and 3 50 paisa coins. Aren't all the events have the equal probability? Because we have considered already 2 1 rupee coins are drawn and we have arranged all the possibilities. So can I say that probability of E1 is equal to probability of E2 is equal to probability of E3 I hope you can guess the answer now. It's nothing but 1 by 4. Any one event can occur and there are 4 possibilities. So this is 1 by 4. These events are known as equiprobable events. Okay. Now let us see. Let me consider that what is the chance of when event 1 has occurred, what is the probability of for me to draw 2 coins which are 2 1 rupee coins when the event 1 occurs? That is, when there are 2 1 rupee coins in the purse, what is the probability that if I have drawn 2 coins and those 2 are 1 rupee coins, the total probability will be, as in my purse there will be 5 coins, the total probability will be 5C2. I have picked up 2 coins from 5 coins and there are only 2 1 rupee coins, so I'll say 2C2. So 2C2 is 1 and 5C2 is nothing but 5 factorial by 3 factorial into 2 factorial. That is nothing but 10. So this is the conditional probability. If you observe, the probability of when 2 coins are drawn at random, they are found to be 1 rupee coins when event 1 has occurred. In such a way, there are completely 4 possibilities are there. So let me find out for all the possibilities. Probability of A by E2 is equal to 5C2, and there are 3 1 rupee coins, so in the event 2, so I'll say 3C2. That is nothing but 3 factorial by 2 factorial into 1 factorial, which will be 3 by 10. Okay. Now if you consider the third one, probability of A by E3, when event 3 occurs, the probability that drawn 2 coins are 1 rupee coins. Let me say 4C2 divided by 5C2. Okay. 4 factorial by 2 factorial into 2 factorial. How much? 5C2 is 10. And if you observe, it will be 6. It is nothing but, okay, let me keep it as 6 by 10 itself. Probably for the calculations, it will be easier rather than simplifying. P of A by E4. The major part you can observe over here, it will be 5C2. There are all 5 1 rupee coins. That is 5C2 divided by 5C2, which will be equal to 1. Okay, what should be your next step? What you need to observe in the next step is that you have found out the event that 2 coins are drawn at random and the possibility of them to be 1 rupee coins. Now you need to understand that what is the possibility of event 1 to happen when event A has occurred. Event A is nothing but 2 coins are drawn at random and are found to be 1 rupee coins. So when this kind of an event happen, what is the possibility of event 1 to occur? That is, what kind of coins are there in your purse? Here comes out the Bayes theorem, where probability of E1 into probability of A by E1. I hope all of you remember this theorem. Sigma j equal to 1 to 4, probability of Ej into probability of A by Ej. So as we have discussed earlier that all these events are equiprobable events. If you observe over here, P of E1 is equal to P of E2 is equal to P of E3 is equal to P of E4. That is 1 by 4. So these are equiprobable events. So I can cancel out P of E1 and P of AI as both of them are common in numerator and denominator. Now if you observe that P of A by E1 that we have just calculated using the conditional probability, that is 1 by 10, and sigma j equal to 1 to 4 P of A by Ej. That is nothing but the sum of all the conditional probabilities. That is P of A by E1 plus P of A by E2 plus P of A by E3 plus P of A by E4. So let me calculate the sum. 1 by 10 plus 3 by 10 is 4 by 10. 4 by 10 plus 6 by 10 is 10 by 10, and plus 1. That will be 2. So on the whole, if I divide it by 1 by 2, it will be 1 by 20. I hope everyone of you clear so far. Why am I calculating this P of E1 by EA? Now I'll calculate P of E2 by EA. I already know that the denominator will be 2 because sigma just now we have calculated, which is the value of 2. P of A by E2, that the condition when E2 has occurred, the 2 coins which are drawn are 1 rupee coins, that is 3 by 10. So 3 by 10 by 2 is nothing but 3 by 20. Now in the same way, calculate for the remaining 2 events also. Which is nothing but 6 by 10 divided by 2, that is 6 by 20. Let me not simplify it for the calculations purpose. P of E4 by A is equal to 1 by 2, because the probability of E4 A by E4 is 1, and the total probability sum of all the probabilities is 2, so it will be 1 by 2. Now we need to calculate the expected value, total value of the remaining coins. The formula is nothing but expected value if you observe, it is nothing but the probability of this event, that is P of E1 into A, P1 by A, into the value of all the 3 coins. When the event 1 is occurring, all the 3 coins are 50 paisa. So I'll write it as P of E1 by A, E1 by A into 3Y, that is 350 paisa coins, plus P of E2 by A into the value of these 3 coins I'm considering, because I have to calculate the expected value, and this is the probability of each event to occur. So I'm multiplying the probability into the value, which will give me the expected total value of the remaining coins. So it will be X plus 2Y plus P of E3 by A into 2X plus Y plus P of E4 by A into 3x. Okay, so if you solve this formula, this is nothing but a general formula which has come up from the question itself, which is nothing but a predefined formula. Find the expected total value of the remaining ones. So the probability of this to happen into the value of the remaining 3 coins. Okay, now P of E1 by A, if you observe, P of E1 by A is 20, and 1 by 20 into 3y, let me say 1 by 20 into 3y. 3y is nothing but half paisa, so 3 by 2 plus P of E2 by A, 3 by 20, that is x plus 2y, that is 1 plus 250 paisa is 2 rupees, 3 by 20 into 2 plus P of E3 by A, that is 6 by 20. 6 by 20 into 2.5, because there are two 1 rupee coins and one 50 paisa coin. So let me say it is 5 by 2, as it is better for the calculations to represent in the form of fractions, plus they have already seen that probability of E4 by A is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 into 3 1 rupee coins. So I'll mention it as 3 rupees. So if we calculate it, it is 3 by 40 plus 3 by 10 plus 2 ones are 2 threes are 5 ones are 5 fours are. So it will be 3 by 4 plus 3 by 2. So if you get the sum of this, it will be 3 by 40. So let me take the LCM into 4 into 10 into 10 into 20. I hope every one of you understood this. The LCM part which I am trying to take, I'm just trying to equalize the denominator with 40. So 3 plus 12 plus 30 plus 60. So if you sum of all this, 60 plus 30 is 90. 90 plus 3 is 93 plus 12, and it will be 105 by 40. So if you try to calculate it as 10.5 for 1s are, for 2s are, for 625. Probably it will be something like 2.625, and this is the expected value which you can find out in the purse. When the 5 coins are there, and at a random if you have picked out 2 coins which are found to be 1 rupee coins, this is a long answer question. I hope every one of you understood it. This carries out 6 marks, and the concepts involved in this question are, if you observe, at first you need to assess the question. That is what the general probability is very important. If you observe, we have to derive out all the events which are about to happen. When there was only one single event given, that is 2 coins are drawn at random and are found to be 1 rupee coins. This is what is given, and you have to derive out all events, and from this you need to find out the conditional probability and find out the each probability. Apply Bayes theorem. If you observe, there are 4 steps for this solution. So that is why it is awarded 6 marks. Okay, that is why it's very important. Till the expected value, you should be able to solve this question. So I hope every one of you are clear with this question. That's good. Anyways, with this we have seen relations and functions. Let me tell you. With this we have covered 3 chapters, very important: relations and functions, inverse trigonometry, and then probability. The reason to consider all these 3 chapters is that it is very important. All of them looks to be a straightforward questions, but the very important thing is the trick that lies behind each and every question of all these 3 chapters. So I would recommend every one of you to take out a sample paper. It's a very important assessment for every one of you. Try to take out a sample paper, keep the timer, and try to solve the questions. Try to solve all the questions as per the all the 29 questions as per the model. Okay, if you try to solve out as per the sample paper, then it will be very easy for you to understand. It will be very easy to assess yourself actually. Which part of the chapter you are weak at, and which part of the chapter you have to excel. This is a very best and very easiest way to assess yourself and to work out for the next 4 days. That is very important for your last minute kind of a preparation. You can access the sample papers from the Meritnation website, and also you can also find out the solutions within 24 hours of the sample paper uploaded. You can find out the solutions also. So it will be easy for you to understand where exactly you need to cope up, where exactly you need to understand. Okay. And with this, today we have finished 3 topics, and tomorrow we will be covering most of the calculus part. Every one of you get thorough with all the methods, models. Just check out with. We'll see some more tricky questions in calculus, which is a very important part, which covers almost 44 marks in your examination. So try to be thorough with all these calculus chapters and integrals, which will be the toughest one. Try to practice as much as possible. Okay, if you have any doubts or any questions, you can ask in the ask and answer forum of Meritnation. You can get the answer as soon as possible, as it is an examination time also. We'll be providing the answer as soon as possible. Okay, you can find out all the solutions. Already so many solutions are already available in the ask and answer forum. If you don't find a solution for any specific question, you can find out by posting your question. Okay, keep practicing guys. Till then, every one of you, bye bye. Tomorrow again we'll meet.